I was a little bit worried about BaRRa's camera, but it's looking good. Welcome in.
I'm here.
Well, I thought my framing was going to be bad. BaRRa, we knew that you were going to be looking good no matter what.
Yeah, thank you.
Welcome into the Prediction Esports Backliners podcast, everybody. As usual, Aggro and BaRRaCCuDDa. But today we have a very special guest, none other than Tyler Meerkat Smite Jensen. Why is everyone laughing, dude? Okay, Meerkat, this is news to you. But I told BaRRa, yeah, I didn't tell BaRRa about this at all because I've been looking for a guest to come on the podcast, and I just like everyone was like, yeah, I would have, but I heard BaRRa doesn't like Disney movies, and now I can't get anyone to come on the podcast anymore. So Meerkat's the only one who said yes.
Yeah, I don't watch movies.
What?
Oh.
Yeah.
That might be worse in my opinion.
That is worse. What? I'm surrounded by them? Wait, Meerkat, what was the last
thing
movie you
is...
saw?
Oh, I actually don't know, genuinely.
Are you serious?
Yeah. No, being raised with my parents, we would never go to like watch movies or anything. And then like my sister and my brother both had we just had this huge gap of pop culture knowledge. And when my sister first started dating my now brother-in-law and her husband, he would be like, "Oh, did you see this movie?" And she'd be like, "No." There's just a 10-year period to 15-year period of pop culture there. I just don't really.
You don't know the last movie you watched?
No, seriously, yeah. And I don't even watch movies anymore, pretty much ever.
You watch TV shows?
Not really either. My parents don't really watch TV either. So,
BaRRa, there's no time to watch anything when you're slamming ranked queues.
From the day I was born, I was going, "Hey, who's in the Steve's queue?"
Yeah,
Wolfie?
Steve's in
here.
queue.
Yeah?
Cancel it. Wait, okay, what's your favorite show or movie you've ever seen, Meerkat?
Okay, you're really, really pushing the boundaries. Okay, so most of the time when I watch a TV show, I'm like, "This is good," and then I never actually end up finishing it.
What? You never binge watch something on Netflix?
Well, I have, yeah, but a lot of times I just don't. I thought The Office was really funny, but then around season 6, I think I was kind of just And then one show that I've watched multiple times that I always find really interesting is House, just because it's the cheesiest thing ever. I just love when the whole realization happens and he's just this condescending prick to everyone, and it's yes.
Do you want to be House?
Not really. He seems miserable, but
no, he's fine. He's happy.
I'm good. Favorite movie? God, that is a hard one because I don't even know if the last movie I watched this.
Honestly, I kind of agree with Meerkat. I don't even know if I have a favorite movie. It's not a movie that I would go out of my way to watch right now. And I feel
my favorite bad movie. Because I can't give you a genuine answer.
Sure.
Thanksgiving? You watch that?
What's that?
Nope,
so
haven't
it's
seen that
this
one.
horrible. It's this horrible horror film about a turkey that goes rogue, and it's just awful, but it's so funny.
It goes rogue?
Yeah, it's a turkey that
Can you define that?
Just Google Thanksgiving, dude.
Thanks.
And it's so they were gonna I forget exactly what happened. Basically, there's a haunted turkey that's killing everybody on Thanksgiving, and it's the worst it's the worst just effects and everything ever. And I don't know, there's multiple scenes. One time the turkey somehow is it's there was I forget the exact quotes, but there's one time where the turkey is just going around killing people. It chops off a dog's balls. One time it goes gobble gobble bitch or motherfucker, I forget which one.
Jeez.
And then
what?
Also it's this horrible animatronic turkey. And then another time the turkey kills a guy and then takes his place having sex with his girlfriend. And then kills her too, I think. Yeah. It's a great movie. I would recommend it.
Yeah.
I'm serious. It's really
Sounds
good.
fantastic.
Okay, maybe we just make a new podcast where Meerkat watches movies for the first time and then explains all of them, because this is good. This is good.
Well,
work by you.
it's been pretty long since I watched it. Great flavor condom. Yeah, this guy's seen it.
This guy knows what's up. F Hill 23 in the chat. Well, this is a Smite podcast, but you wouldn't know it. I didn't think that I would end up ruining the whole podcast by asking Meerkat what his favorite movies are, not knowing that he'd never seen a movie
Okay,
in his
like
whole
genuine favorite movie. Like I don't even know what I've watched, honestly. Like I blacked out. Like
What?
Okay, all right, let's move
I
on
didn't black out,
this,
but I might as well have blacked out.
This is a black hole of. No, we're not gonna have any fans left after this.
I feel like we should just keep going down this until it gets ruined, right?
We're there.
We're already there.
It's been ruined. Yeah, we need to move on.
It took 8 minutes.
My God. That is actually insane. We have been live for so long already. Oh my God. Okay, we got to get moving.
All right, great job, Aggro.
Yeah, great job by me. My fault, everyone. Apologies here. Let's start. Let's start with our movie list king in the middle here, Meerkat. You've just recently won the SCC playoffs in North America. BaRRa, I don't even know if you watched any of them because I didn't tell you to. I assume you didn't.
No.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
That's fine. No, it's totally fine.
You didn't miss much.
Mirk, I just thought that you and John could maybe share a moment as far as teammates who have been able to bask in Baskin's unbelievable glow.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, we can relate. Like the
as he's just
really
doing a million damage. What was it? 50? He did 51k damage in 29 minutes today.
He was also new alting off CD.
Literally the exact second.
Actually?
Yeah, literally the exact second his new alt came up.
No, in our games, Baskin was like, he saw how much damage BaRRaCC did on new alt the game. Was it BaRRaCC? No, it was Crimson.
Yeah, it's
Crimson, the game before. And he was like, what? Like, because like Crimson did like 30k and Baskin did like 16k, even though Crimson was getting dumpstered the entire game. Baskin was popping, and you could like kind of tell that Baskin was kind of like, what? And then so like the next game he's like, I think there was like a ton of good mid picks up, and then he was just like, all right, give me Nuwa. And we're like, we'd practiced it before, so we're like, whatever. But I'm pretty sure he just wanted, I think he saw how much damage Crimson did. And he just wanted to one-up.
Yeah, there was one point where you guys, like, he was playing normally, then you guys went up like 3 or 4k.
Yeah, and he just started ulting on.
And he just started insting on cooldown.
And when he the first time he ulted, like on CD, he was just he started calling enemies spotted in the VGS. So, you know, like, I don't know. You can read into that like what you will.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that is what happened.
It seems like a pretty sweaty game. Like, I'm checking it out right now, and he basically has as much damage as the enemy team combined.
He had more than all of us combined on our team. Yeah.
Sam brings up a good point. That is just good vision. I was gonna say that I think he was misplaying, though. There were a couple times he would ult instead of waiting 2 or 3 seconds to get the people on respawn. He was ulting when people are about to spawn. Like, that's if he's looking for player damage. Like, I feel like that's kind of a misplay.
Inefficient.
Sino in the chat, the new jungler, of course, for Obey Alliance.
God, he's so dreamy.
He says, "Can you ask Meerkat if he thinks they would have won if he was still in the SCC? Do you guys think he would have been able to take down Locked and Goated with Sino at the helm?"
I still think we would have won, but I think they would have been by far our best competition.
They were your closest games anyways, right?
They were the team that has always played us the closest throughout the year by a lot. We didn't really struggle with anyone else. But they were the only team that really they were the only CC team that ever beat us, actually. Because we lost to Bloogie and the Loogies, but we forfeit those games, and we literally had never played them the entire year. They never scrimmed us. I remember after they made the roster change where they kicked Mollusk and they added Andy and Aqua left our team. I messaged them and I was like, hey, can we scrim? And then like Gamma gave me like the weirdest half answer ever. And then I was like, yeah, look, man, if you don't want to scrim us, just tell me. And then he just said, all right, looks like we're not scrimming. And then we played them and I never asked again. So we literally had never played Bloogie and the Woogies all year. But they looked good. Like, they dumpstered Sino's team that 1 week. Just demolished. But then, I don't know. It's hard to say. Like, I feel like they weren't quite on their game when they played us. I don't know. Like, I think that team is definitely better than what they showed against us. But then it's just weird because we kind of dumpstered them, they dumpstered Sino's team, and then we would lose to Sino's team. / it'd be really close to Sino's team. It didn't really make sense. But yeah.
It's a lot of dumpsters right there.
Yeah.
Say what you want. Sino says you are wrong. They would have won. Baskin says the only reason that Sino's team ever beat us is because they try so hard.
Okay, that is true though. They do try so hard, dude. When we would play against them, fucking Sino's just running around with like full CDR Merc, splitting every single wave, ulting down lanes and crap. It was just disgusting, dude.
Full CDR Merc sounds potent.
Dude, it actually was. It was so annoying. We lost. God, late game, he was just running around. Dude,
your one's on a 4-second cooldown then, right? Or was it nerfed to 10? Is it 8 seconds or 10 seconds now? It's one of those two. That's still a low cooldown, one way or the other.
Yeah, I don't know. The thing is, like, Sino's the GOAT. That's that.
And that is that. Yeah, before we get into your SPL games here, BaRRa, Obey get a win, and that's definitely one of the biggest storylines of the week. They finally break the streak. Then not only do they get a game win, which they hadn't found up until that point, but they end up 2-1ing Sanguine, who was like number 2 or number 1 in the standings before that. How surprising was that to you guys? It was crazy.
I think Sanguine's draft, I think it was game 1. Whichever game they had Raw. I don't know if they picked Raw again after that.
I think that was game 1.
Game 1.
I hated that draft. I thought that draft was abysmal. Like,
not only was the draft bad, but they played badly too.
Dude,
like they did not
played
execute
really
well.
Game 1. They took some really terrible fights game 1.
Not to take away from Obey, by the way, because
yeah.
there is a lot of teams that have had bad drafts and played badly against Obey and still won in 23 minutes. Like we can call a spade here, right? The difference was clearly night and day.
And I think Sanguine didn't play well, and I think Obey played really well, and I think Sino just carried.
Nike Jungle's OP, dude. If Gilly was onto something.
The amount of room that Nike Jungle can make is just annoying.
Inbound to check. Okay. Bobby, listen, man, you know I love you. But it was true, man. Like, Sino's saying that he played the Nike Jungle first and gifted it over to Gilly. Meerkat as the ranked machine.
It's true. Yeah, that's true. It's true.
Okay, it's true. All right.
Although I will say Gilly was, maybe more fearsome. That's all I'll say.
No.
I was gonna say that
Sino played it first, and then he gave it to Gilly. But Gilly really was just terrorizing rank for those 3 weeks, and it was something I've never seen. Mainly because it was like you got Gilly on Nike Jungle, and you're like, this is a dub, and then on like nearly anything else, you're like, this is a loss. Whereas with Sino, you have like expectations that he could play not Nike, but Gilly, it was just terrifying.
Right, that's a good point.
You almost made it out of that hole. That was good.
Like it changes your expectations entirely. I think is a good way to put it.
I thought everyone on Obey played a lot better, actually.
Yeah, for sure.
I thought it was Inbound's best set by far.
Yeah, it was definitely Bobby's best set by a lot.
Wolfie looked really good.
He played really well. Wolfie played really well. It was probably Wowie's best set too.
Agreed.
I thought Wowie looked a lot more comfortable.
I feel like Wowie plays good basically every set. I have a lot of respect for Wowie.
I think Wowie's pretty good too.
I think when your jungler's playing well, it's way better to play ADC, or way easier. Sorry.
Yeah.
And better, but it's just a whole like night and day of what you can do and how you can like step up in lane and do everything you want to do.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that too. Especially, I mean, I've scrimmed against Obey a lot, and I always thought Wowie was better than what I had seen yet. After scrimming against him, I definitely came away and thought he was a lot better than what I saw in the SPL.
Yeah, he's good, man. By the way, talking about like whether Sino or Gilly started the ranked trend made me think of one of the best ideas I've ever had, and maybe Prediction Esports wants a second Smite podcast. Because BaRRa, listen to this idea, right? It's a Smite ranked focus podcast. It's called Bank Time. Okay.
I was gonna do this.
Great podcast name, number 1.
I forgot about that.
Number 2, it goes over all of the weekly like hot picks that you're seeing. Who's trending up? Who's inting in your ranked games? Who should you dodge?
Jake.
Smurf detector.
Jake.
Okay, well, Can we talk about that real quick? Jake has been hard inting to the point where
there is not an argument that he's not inting.
Like Coop might have to have a talk with him, man. Like
someone needs Someone needs
There
to
needs to be an
sit Jake
intervention,
down.
bro. Like,
Yeah, dude.
because before you could be like, oh, it's just Jake. Like, he's just not that good. Like, whatever, nothing you can do. He's in the SPL now. Like, there's no excuse. You know he's a good player at this point. Like, there's
Dude,
no excuse anymore.
There was a game where Jake was.
Sino
Yeah,
says he played.
He did do that.
Yeah, Jake played Soul Eater, Oboe, Rat support.
Yep.
It went 1 in 20. Like, that's inting, man.
There was a game where he was playing Guan yu, and he was like, I don't know, like 1 in 17 or something. And every time as one does, anyways, and every time he like died, or every time like his team would like wipe them, and they could like push, Jake would just run into the Phoenix and auto attack it until he died. He did that like 3 times. And then I was in a game with him. One time, and we were just gonna start purple, and then he randomly starts spam pinging the enemy purple and goes attack, and I say no. So then what does Jake do?
Well, he
attacked.
Right.
He has to attack at that point.
He's attacking in the 1v2, dies instantly, and then he gets back in the lane, dies like 3 more times in 4 minutes, and it's just so he's just like eating shit every time he goes in the lane, and it's just so obvious he's just like
experimenting. Right. We're gonna say experimenting.
We're testing the limits.
Right.
Somehow Jake was like 2 in like 15 or something, and then somehow we win that game, and our Titan was like at 1000 HP at one point.
That's a dub for Jake.
And it took like 45 minutes, and it was so miserable, and I didn't get to play the game. But I mean, hey.
Yeah, what's the deal, BaRRa? Can you be our conduit here?
Okay, so I think there was a leak in Jake's brain somewhere where all of the SPL knowledge we had been funneling in there, and kind of like, just, you know, your decision-making changes, that leaked out somewhere.
Right.
Because he was kind of doing the same thing in scrims for a while, and I was like, Jake, like, I think it was this week, actually, where, like, ranked habit started to come back, and Jake was like, BaRRa, it was like level 2 or level 3, he was like, you should dash in here. Into a whole wave, and he was like, I can go in afterwards. I'm just like, no.
I love how he wants you to go in first, and he's gonna go in afterwards.
And he, like, that was what he told me when he first joined the team, was like, you should dash in, and like, then I'll like silence the whatever ADC we were playing against their dash. And I was like, you realize that I will take the full creep aggro of 6 minions. My dash will be down.
Right.
The ADC will be pummeling me the entire time. I think it was like Shablanc or whatever. And he was like, just dash in there.
Well, I mean, he's going to be popping off if you get in there.
Today, when he was playing Naja, the first couple, I was like, oh baby, like, are we gonna see 1 in 17 Jake at the SPL? Like, I was like, because he was lining up for it. Like, those first 6 minutes, he was well on his way. All right, like, and those plays were looking like what I'd seen in my ranked games a bit. Like, not gonna lie, like, I was thinking like, this might be it. This might be the game I have been waiting for. I don't know. My theory on Jake is he got like, he's had to deal with all this SPL stuff and like, you know, like all this like
trying really hard,
and all this crap, and I think it just got to him. I don't know. I think he
needed a release.
I think he needs a release. It was hard inting at a Dapping's ranked games.
Or there was a gas leak at the Renegade's house. Like, yeah, you know, nothing you could really do about that, you know. But he did this week earlier against SSG in your set win against them, BaRRa. He literally insta won you the game on Xing Chen. That game, he was like popping off that game
against SSG.
Yeah, wasn't that against SSG?
Wait, we won a game. I think we got 2 over SSG.
Did you? Oh, you did. You guys threw game 2 really hard.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up.
Oh, no.
You can see, like, the blood dripping down, but, like, you just pour salt in it, dude. It's fine.
Okay, I actually thought you guys won because you were playing so much better than them that game, and then you guys had that one weird fight by tier 1 and left.
You lost.
And then you lost. Apology. Look, okay, wait. Can I say for myself, by the way, this week has been insanely long for me with SCC games every day.
I'm sorry.
A whole bunch of sets beforehand. Cut me a little bit of slack, chat. All right.
Talk about Smite a lot.
Yes!
Guys,
Yes,
my
we do have to
brain.
talk about Smite a lot. All right, talk about Smite yourself, BaRRa, you 0-2 guy.
No,
There's
you
just
just
so
talk
many-
about all my losses.
There's
I'll let
just
you
so
do it.
many teams to keep track of in this pro league of 8 whole teams, and it's just like, oh
Yeah.
my
Listen,
god,
man.
what's going on?
Listen,
dude?
man. I don't want to talk about it. Okay, Jake hard carried a game that you should have won. Is that better? Probably not.
Yeah, that's better.
Okay.
So yeah, that last fight. Also, game one of that set. I guess we'll just talk about that set.
Yeah.
Game one, I literally got Argus off of cooldown. I had
did.
no idea what to do in any of the fights. I felt like I was on a different page than my team in most fights, and Darda was literally like flanking again, which I went into the set knowing he was gonna do, and for some reason I still fell for it in like every fight. Like Raffer and Nika would like take my attention. I would start shooting them, and I would get Argus and like Hera Wand or Heritude. And it was so annoying. So like game two, I was like, I'll go Cherno. I should be able to avoid like a lot of what Dardos was doing, and I think it worked decently well. And then we took that one really bad fight. We had EFG, and we knew we had a general idea of them setting up a bait at the end of the game, and Jake was calling to go on the Hera. So I ulted up, and I was like, okay, Hera's gonna be dead here. This should be a sick fight. And then I flew down. Alma ulted my 1-2 or my Cherno 1-2 combo, and then I missed it on Hera because I didn't shoot it far enough because I was like trying to rush the kill because I thought we were all inning and then like taking the fight afterwards. And then I got Athena taunted, I beads, and then actually I did a really good job there. I waited to beads until Hera casted. I dodged the 2, dodged the Argus, went into the wall, and I was like, this team fight's over. Like,
Yeah,
it's
you
gonna be
did.
so good. And then I flew out. I got all in by Alma with Thorns. I got dunked by the Athena ult. And then we had a kind of a bad Nua ult. We know ulted before Kali blinked, and Kali blinked and all in Vin. And then I think Kali killed Solo as well or something. And then Jake was fighting literally the entire team fight. I'm pretty sure that was like a 1v1, like behind in like another country.
Right.
Behind the whole team fight. And we just threw because we took such a bad fight into a Kali. Like, Kali was their win con, and we played right into it. Like, it was so stupid by us. Like,
Yeah, Ven, as Dardes points out in the chat, Ven had no actives either that fight. So I feel like you just have to hold Nua ult the whole time, right? You can never use it early.
And that was really frustrating because as we were leaving the base, we were talking about Ven not having actives. I think my Aegis was down for 20 or 30 at the time of the team fight taking place, and my beads were just coming back up from a previous team fight as well in the beginning of that fight. And we called all in the Hera, and then she has Alma movement speed right next to her.
Yep.
And then Alma had a really good peeling ult.
And her own 3, which makes her super fast.
Yeah, I don't think Lazarus was able to like get to the Hera at all that fight, so we were really just spread out, taking an awkward engagement, and then letting the Kali get the perfect fight, which, like, that was the thing we were playing on literally the entire game. Like, was just, we can't lose to Kali. We can't lose to Kali. And then they picked Vin at blue buff as well earlier that game.
Oh, yeah.
And Vin didn't have ult, and he said, like, I should have been with him, but I'm not sure that makes a difference if a Kali's blinking on you.
They kill you both.
Yeah, and I don't know. It was like, that game was so free if we just didn't make stupid mistakes, I think, because we were playing really well, and we just basically gave it to them, in my opinion. Like, we played into their win condition, which was just stupid by us. Like, I think we lost the exact same way in the previous set as well against SSG. I'm pretty sure it was like a late game Kali or late game misplay.
Yeah, I think it was.
And then, yeah, it was just bad by me. And then game one, I just felt terrible about the entire game. Like, I think I did like 8,000 damage.
You played Jingwei that game, right?
Yeah, so I was pretty confident going into their fight because I could just crit the Argus and kill Argus while Argus tried to kill my teammates. But in reality, I was getting dropped to, I think I ulted out with like 60 health in 3 or 4 different fights. And as a Jingwei, you don't want to be doing that. And I was ulting out like the beginning of fights as well.
Right.
And I don't know if that was just poor positioning by me or lack of vision by us, but it was just kind of nonstop. Like, every team fight, I did like 0 damage. I think it was like 300 to like 1,000 probably, which as a Jingwei with crit like that is just terrible. Like,
yeah, Dardes was like kind of jamming Argus on your face every team fight, and that tends to happen whenever a mage gets on top of you as a backliner.
Yeah, I think I was just out of position. I'll take like 75% responsibility for that, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, both you guys as ADC players now. This is a podcast called the Backliners. That's where all the cool players are, is in the backline. What as ADCs, because I have a different perspective from a mid lane perspective. Where do you guys think that you should be spending the majority of your time in most team fights? Obviously, there's a million different scenarios. That's what makes MOBAs cool. But like, if you had to describe an ADC's job in a team fight, how would you do that?
Do you want to go first, Meerkat, or you want me to?
I guess
he
Meerkat doesn't want to go first. I don't know. I don't know where he went.
My mic was muted. Whoopsies. My experience has been is basically just attack who's in front of you. And how we play, I think it depends on the team and it depends on the comp, but how we play usually is just like if Basca and I just peel for each other, if Basca and I peel for each other, and then like Gino or Haddix or Mass, one of the three, just one of them just falls back with us. It feels like with the way we draft, we'll win every single team fight. So Basca and I basically will usually just sit around each other, and I'll just attack the frontliner that's going on me usually. Yeah, I don't know. I think you could be more aggressive.
Jump on any grenade that comes near Baskin, right?
Kinda. I mean, I definitely could be more aggressive in fights, I think. Like, I think there is like a role for that in ADC, but with how we play and the comps we kind of draft, I think it's just, you just kind of chill with how we play. Right? Yeah, we kind of pick it every game it's open, and it's not really a secret. So, yeah.
Nice.
It's a fun time for Meerky.
We just pick like team fighting comps, and then because I don't think in SCC, I mean, this could change in SPL, but in SCC, there's not high enough execution to actually punish you usually for picking bad early game, in my opinion. And you, especially if you like watch how the teams play beforehand, and then you can like ban specific things. Like with Andy's team, we just banned out Andy, and like we knew that like a lot of teams like the junglers just come to purple on respawn, and it was basically just like if you don't die there, then Mascus gets really far ahead, and there was a lot of stuff like that that was really easy to beat. So yeah, I don't know, and X-Ball ult with like X-Ball and just team fighting is just sick. So
yeah, you guys like slam locked Xbalanque against Odin's support.
Yeah, no, I was like, I don't know. It's just like, well, it doesn't really matter if I die. So,
and that was exactly what happened. And you were right. You died to Odin Cage alive. Yeah, and it did not matter.
I was just like, we'll still win team fights, so whatever.
You agree with that though, BaRRa? For the most part, it's building and hitting just frontliners for the most part. That's most of the time your job.
I would say like 75 to 80%. You're hitting frontline. I think as an example, game 3 of our set against Rival, my job was to not kill frontline. My job was to dive their backline with Nuwa ult and just try to kill the Ola run and the Hui, because they're relatively easy targets. So a lot of times I was kind of skipping the RDO so big because they're pretty hard targets for our backline to kill with Hachi and Nuwa, because we kind of just double stun. If we don't kill them in the double stun, we lose because we're hard diving with that comp, obviously.
Right.
And a lot of times I was Hachi ulting through. There was one fight in mid which I thought was going to go way better. I literally solo ulted Twig, and I thought the fight, like, in comms, that fight sounded like, yeah, I mean, like, you just know what a one fight sounds like in comms. And I was just happily, like, I was screaming, Hui jump was down. He jumped at goal. We saw him on a ward. And I was like, kill Hui, kill Hui, kill Hui, like, for like 3 seconds straight as he runs like low side mid. And when Hui jumped down, in my opinion, for like 12 seconds, he should just die. Right. So I rode my horse down the lane, dove Twig under tower. Well, not really, but I shot him with the ult and he died. And then we lost that fight, and I was like, what happened? Like, I thought like my teammates were going to kill the Ola run so much faster, and I thought that Hui was going to die as well at the same time, but I guess we can't kill 2 targets. But I don't know. In comms, it sounded like a free win, and then in actuality, it just wasn't. I misplayed that fight really poorly, in my opinion, because I didn't play it like in the proper way. But it just depends on their front line if you can actually lock them down and kill them, or if you need to assist in your dive as well, or if you have a comp. Like, if you have Xbalanque, Hachi, even Jingwei, sometimes Cherno, like, you can dive their backline and just make room for your front line as well. And it kind of just depends, like what Meerkat said, like, It depends on your draft, depends on their draft, and what backline you have. But like I said, 75% of the time, it's definitely just hitting their front line. But
Yeah.
if it's God like Sobek, you have to spend so much time trying to kill Sobek. It's so annoying.
What's
It's
the
like-
point, dude? What's the point of
It's
ever
kinda
trying to
like-
kill him?
It's like a tier as well. Like if they go the movement speed build, you
They just
need.
picked Ganesh, I'm telling you. It's broken. We actually picked Ganesh every game and just farmed every single moon speed tier frontliner in the SEC games.
It
Not
actually
kidding.
is really good against
Dude,
it.
you can watch those sets. Like that was like our comp. Like we were just like okay,
Aqua
we'll just
blinks
pick
in
Ganesh.
and then stands there
Silence.
like a dummy because he's silenced the entire time.
No, we picked Ganesh in the frontliners every single game, and they just got farmed.
Yeah. So who on our team can play Ganesh?
Yeah. Well, that's like a you problem.
Yeah. Unfortunate.
Dude, I think that Ven could probably pull it out mid. Like, just give it a shot.
But yeah, I mean,
It clears well.
I can't wait to see Ven whip Ganesh mid in my rankings. Like Kuzma mid V2.
You
Awesome.
go-
Gold border Kuzma mid coming out. Ven going, no, it's good. I swear.
Yeah, I actually believed in him in that pick. And
Are you serious? Did you
Yeah.
ever scrim with that pick? You're trolling me.
no, we didn't.
Oh, thank God. I would have told you that was the.
Unfortunately.
What do you mean, unfortunately?
I mean, we can do it this week. We got like 3 or 4 or 5 days for. I don't even know what day we play. We got some time to work on some picks.
Good
So
Lord. Do not. That's...
maybe a little Naja support with like a Ganesh Kuz mid.
Dude.
You just Naja ult on the Ganesh ult.
Dude, Naja Alt and Ganesh is OP together. I love
Yeah.
that combo. Are there gods that you guys like love playing with? What frontline gods do you love having on your team at like all times? I loved having Athena on my team, like in a competitive setting. I've ranted a lot about how ranked it's awful and I never want to see it ever. In a competitive setting, I loved having an Athena on my team because I feel like it just made my job really, really easy.
Kind of love Ganesh right now. Not kidding.
Dude, Nesher is sick.
Like we just kill frontline with Ganesh. So easy.
Yep.
It's just so easy. I don't know.
That's why I love having Athena, because you just kill frontline really easy. They just taunt them, and you just like whirlpool crack in their tank, and they die all the time. You know?
Also, if Haddix is King Arthur, that's really nice because you kind of just win.
Yeah.
You get so much space. Dude, his ASC, his average space created, is actually insane. Like, on that pick. I don't know. He is crazy on that god.
I'll say Discord is not a frontliner, but I'll say Ganesh and Kepri I think are my favorite.
Kepri's fun.
They just nonstop set up for me. They peel for me. They save me, and we kill frontline with both of those. And it feels so free.
Okay.
And it feels like frontliners just can't play into them.
Now I know Jake might not be a Ganesh player at heart, but I think I've got a sell that you can get for him. Okay.
Okay.
Not many other Guardians can legitimately 100 to 0 squishies. You let him build upgraded Sunder. You let him try and one-shot people. Okay? You tell him that if you're winning, he can buy Staff of Mirrodin, which is OP because you ult 3/3 someone and it one-shots them. I think that there might be a world where you can convince Jake to try it.
Ooh, is he getting Sunder level 1 or level 12?
Whatever
There's
it
just
takes.
no way Jake ever plays Ganesh, dude.
What do you
There's
mean?
no way.
You can run it down on that
I
guy
also
for sure.
I loved watching him play Fafnir into a Wheelix too.
Oh, did you see his short jump?
Yeah, we talked about that. We talked about how there's just no way he's ever gonna get pulled because Jake is 1-inch jumping every single time. It's so funny.
That's actually so smart, dude.
Dude, it was just like it was a little scoot. Every single time. There's no way he was ever getting pulled, and he always did it. Like there was multiple times where I was pretty sure Jake like could have definitely died for that, and he just did it, and then he didn't. So
Genius.
yeah.
I mean, his Fafnir is actually just like. So, let me turn my light on. His Fafnir is just so good.
Sam says he had that. Did you have that, Sam? Did you ever pull him off one of the mini?
I had
ones?
that bring.
Yeah. All right, Sam. All right.
I don't think he did
Bring that
once.
to land, and I have that. Dude, by the end of the game, Sam was like, "Screw using my ult for anything but just insane damage." And and he just like that last fight where he triple killed you guys. He ulted and then blinked and one-shot Ven like literally instantly.
Yeah, I was gonna get to that fight. I think everyone but Jake misplayed in that fight. Honestly, I don't even know what Jake did in that fight.
But he
'Cause we
played it
didn't talk
perfectly.
about it.
Like, you got to give him
Yeah.
credit there. I mean, come on.
I mean, his Fafnir, I mean, his execution rate's pretty freaking high. I went to Oni because I thought I could do Oni while my team distracted them at fire, and they probably knew I went to Oni. And I think Jake followed me to Oni because we were scared that they were going to do Oni with Hui and Olo, or Hui or Olo or whatever. And then we saw all them awards, like right when I got to gold, and I was like, "Do you guys still want me to do Oni?" I literally got like one yes, one no, and I'm like, "Dear God." Okay, so I shot it and I did like 2,000 damage, and then I think Solo's blink beads and ult got forced, and then I was like, "Oh no!" As I run my way back to fire, and Jake's like right in front of me, and then they full commit to fire. Vin steps up, tries to 3-fire to steal it, and at the same time that happens, Sam one-shots Vin, and Vin dies without ulting. And then we Susanoo ulted, I think, to try to peel for Vin. And then we Susanoo ulted the Awilix 2, and I don't think he did any damage. I'm like 90% sure that's accurate. And then, so Solo's team fight was pretty much done when he got everything forced earlier. My team fight was literally me ulting into their backline, realizing that was a terrible idea because we weren't diving, and then shooting a Sobek and getting soloed by a Thorns, Nemi, and Sobek. And I Aegis his ult, and I was like, "Oh, I can still win this." And then I literally just got soloed, and they got EFG and won the game.
Sounds
and
like
I
you
was
got
just
outskilled there by Fine. I mean, come on.
God, he literally just walked at me, pressed all his buttons, pressed Thorns, and then pressed all his buttons again and died.
Well, Solo got picked before that fight even started, which was really rough.
Yeah, I think
he
we
got plucked, and then he boosh beads it. I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
And then he had the ult, and that like he just doesn't do anything after that.
And I'm pretty sure once that happens, we wouldn't even contest, and I just do Oni, and then we call it a give that up. But
yeah,
because I don't think we're ever winning a fight without Vamana ult into their backline. Like, they would have to misplay so hard for us to win that. And then they full commit to fire and got fired. I think there's an argument for me to stay in the pit next to Sobek and just try to 2-fire or auto-attack fire to try to steal it.
Well, they end there without fire, right? Like, the fire is irrelevant at that point.
Yeah, it just depends on how many of my teammates are going to die. And if I get fire and like 3 of us live, there's an argument for us like to stay or to not lose at that exact moment. But either way, like once Solo, I'm pretty sure like it's just so annoying because like in a scrim, I'm pretty sure once Solo gets that many actives and his ult force, we just call it off.
Right.
But, like in SPL, it's like we saw like 4 ults and Vin died without ulting, and then Susanoo ult, I'm pretty sure did 0 damage, and then my ult just hit their backline, and then my fight was screwed. I don't even know what Jake did, but I mean, couldn't have misplayed it that hard. But I don't know, like I just feel like in a scrim we'd probably just be like, no, we have to get this up. BaRRa, just do Oni, and then we'll try to cut our losses. And I don't know. But then the same argument, like their siege is so good with Olaron ult, like I don't know. You give them EFG, and I'm pretty sure they just one-shot Solo in fights because they do so much more damage.
Right.
I don't know. But he did have Spectral into Olo, and then with Hui building crit as well. I don't know. It's such a hard call to make like in the moment because like if we steal that and get our new ult off and our Susanoo ult does damage to their backline, maybe, but without a mono ult, I don't know.
That's a lot of things that have to go right in that moment.
I just don't think you ever win that fight with Solo can ult.
Yeah, agree. That's such a key part of it. And even with Solo's ult, man, their double upgraded shell.
Dude, that was really interesting. Yeah, that was kind of cool to see that they didn't actually like try to kill him. They just
shelled and ran around in circles.
They ran around for a very long time.
Dude, there was the one fight under tier 1 tower in mid where Solo was just pounding on Twig for like the entire max duration Vamana ult, and he never killed him. And I was like, oh my god, dude, that is.
Was that the time I Hachi ulted down the lane?
Yeah, and then died.
Yep. That fight should have been good for sure. I agree with the comms.
In comms, it sounded so free.
It sounded good.
I thought. And that's just like so annoying because like you don't see the entire fight because you see the fight happening in a certain way like in your brain and comms. Like comms can influence you a lot for how like your decision making because if everyone's getting excited and like I don't know, they're like yelling targets like the fight's good.
Yeah.
And like you're most likely you're gonna win the fight.
That is
and
the
then,
most awkward silence ever, right? When you're like, oh, kill this guy. Oh, kill this guy. Oh, kill this guy. And then everyone's dead and you're like, so how didn't we win that? Like, that conversation always sucks.
And there was one fight I played really well at the red buff. At their red buff, I Hachi ulted into their backline, double stunned their backline. I'm pretty sure I got both their beads. And then me and Sam did like an awkward 30-second dance of like, you jump in, no, you dash it. And then Solo came over and killed him. And I thought after that fight, I'm pretty sure we were going to win the game.
Yeah.
And then we didn't. So that's unfortunate.
That's a bit unlucky, dog. Hey, that's the way. Sometimes they don't think it be like it is, but it do. Before we wrap up this week's podcast, I've been thinking that I really miss sports, like a lot. And I miss watching them quite a bit. And it had me thinking about my favorite athletes of all time from traditional sports. But I also think that it's a good conversation to have our favorite esports athletes of all time. Doesn't necessarily have to be from Smite. So do either of you guys have a particular athlete from any sport or from a different esport that you always like watching?
As a kid, actually, I really wanted to be a baseball player. And so I watched a little bit of baseball as a kid, and Chipper Jones for the Atlanta Braves.
You are such a Georgia boy, dude. Loving Chipper Jones. Come on, son.
Yeah. I
He
don't
is
know
great,
why.
though.
I was just his biggest fan for a while. And then in second grade, I played baseball. We lost every game, and I never played baseball again.
Dude, Barra, we gotta get you back on it. I've been saying that since SPL pros moved to Atlanta, I want to join like a rec league softball league with all the Smite boys. That'd be
I can't wait to watch that.
Fun, dude. How fun would that be? That would be awesome. Sino says Jokic, which I imagine we'll hear again soon enough. But Chipper Jones was really good for sure.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite athlete, I didn't really have like any that I was a huge fan. Like I liked them when I was kids and I was huge fans of them, but I don't know if there was one that was like a favorite one that like stayed the test of time. But like my current one, and probably will be my probably one of my most favorite athletes for a really long time because I don't think he'll leave the Nuggets. Would be Nikola Jokic.
Yeah, I knew this was coming. If you guys don't know, Nikola Jokic is this like 7 foot 1 million ogre, European ogre, who plays center for the Denver Nuggets.
That's somewhat rude.
No one has ever been less coordinated as a professional athlete, and he's
also the
good.
GOAT.
He's insanely good. Like
he's so good. Dude.
I hate watching him play the game, dude. I can't stand it.
He's the best.
He trips and like throws the ball, and it just happens to go in the hoop all the time. I hate he has the ugliest game I've ever seen by far, and it's so effective, and it tilts me. I just get mad every time. Meerkat will be posting Jokic highlights in our group chat, and I just rage, dude. I rage. I hate it. I don't know.
Jokic is a sick passer. He's really good at scoring too.
It's true.
And his clunkiness makes him lovable.
His clunkiness makes he trips and pukes his way to the All-Star game every single year.
I mean, he's not puking, you know.
In his mouth he is. You can tell he's throwing up in his mouth and then swallowing.
I think you have something more personal here than
my favorite athlete of all time, definitely Ken Griffey Jr. I've been a huge baseball fan my whole life. But Ken Griffey Jr. was the best. Ken Griffey Jr. baseball in the N64, one of the best baseball games of all time. He was OP in that game, as was his teammate Edgar Martinez. But yeah, Ken Griffey's my favorite athlete. But Sidney Crosby is probably my other favorite current athlete, but that should be expected as a guy from Pittsburgh who likes hockey. How about esports athletes for you guys real quick? I'd say for me, I grew up COD was my favorite esport when I first started watching competitive esports, and of course I had to be an Optic fanboy. Loved Nadeshot, loved Scumpy, but probably Nade would be my favorite esports athlete of all time.
I would say Ogre 2 or Double Lift.
I was gonna say for sure you were gonna say a Halo guy.
Yeah, Ogre 2 just the things he did just blew my mind.
He was so good, dude.
Like his mechanics back then in Halo CE and Halo 2 were just tiers above everyone else, and just watching them play, I'm just a big Halo guy. And then as of like the last like 3 or 4 years, probably Double Lift. Probably a few Counter-Strike guys here and there.
Yeah.
I was a really big fan of Coldzera and Fallen, but that was
Fallen is
I think it
sick,
was
dude.
that was when I was on LG and like I watched a lot of CS:GO. Now I don't watch that much anymore. But I think Double Up just kind of like over that whole span was just I'm always just a big Double Up fan.
How do you
I
think
don't
he's
know
gonna do
why.
on TSM? You think he's gonna pop there?
Probably not. Like I feel like TSM is always that team where it's just like they should be really good, and then it's just like Bjergsen's like carry project.
Yep.
I don't know. I don't get
Bjergsen is so
my
sick.
hopes up for North America ever
That's
in
probably
league.
a good call. For sure. Mirky, how about you? What you got? Who's your favorite esports guy?
I don't know if I have one that really leaps out to me, but I'd probably say I watch esports other than Smite, but I didn't get that involved in rooting for teams.
Yeah.
But I always did root for SPL because he always made me laugh, and yeah, it was just so awkward. It was funny. And then I don't know. In Smite, I definitely have like players that I've always enjoyed watching too, but yeah.
Like Aggro.
No. No.
What? Okay, right. Dragon Story 1.
Oh,
Okay, that kid is a legend, I gotta say. I love him.
We need to have a whole
Not really.
podcast dedicated to Dragon Story and all.
He
the
trash talked my
players, man.
Loki, which was
That is wow. That is disrespectful
really hurt.
for sure.
No, it's a really funny clip. He's like, "Yeah, T Souls is a good Loki. Professor Loki is a good Loki." And
he does
then
that
he's
weird
like,
thing with his mouth.
Yeah, he did that. It was weird. And
Okay,
then he was like, and Meerkat. And then he's like, well, I don't know about Meerkat. I landed against him on Baron one time, and I wasn't impressed.
Well,
wow.
Meerkat, I will say you had the best battle Loki for sure.
Thank you. That means a lot coming from Ryan Aggro Bailey.
You were getting in there, one way or the other. I do think that the Bank Time Ranked podcast is a good idea. Smurf detector every week. Who we think?
Yeah, I don't want to out Smurf though. You know, like that could be bad.
Yeah, but
Meerkat might be too deep in that community.
Yeah, it's kind of like
he's
like having like I don't know. I feel like I'm part of like this like kind of Smurf kind of underground, or like not really underground, but it's kind of like
you could say.
It's like a guy making like a mafia podcast about the mafia and then publicizing all the bad deeds of the mafia. And it's like, well, I don't know if I don't want to do that too. Yeah, but then like all of his boys get screwed over. And it's like, I don't know if I want to do that, you know, like.
Hey.
But at the same time, it would be a good podcast. And maybe I'll do it, but I am pretty lazy. So if Aggro maybe wants to do it, you know, like it. So yeah.
Yeah, I definitely have a lot of free time that I want to do that with, so I'll be sure to get right on that. Thanks everybody for watching. Meerkat, thanks for joining and trolling us with not watching any movies, which is still absolutely unbelievable.
I've never seen a movie in my life.
Yeah, the intro to this podcast was a mess.
It was really bad. Maybe we have everyone cut that out. We'll fix it in post for sure. Make sure you guys are following at Prediction on Twitter and everything like that. Also on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, where you can find us. Give us a good rating. Meerkat will watch a movie for every 5-star rating you guys give us.
That's not true.
So make sure you do that. That's going to be very, very important. And check us out next week, where we're back at the exact same time, 8 p.m. on Sunday on twitch.tv/PredictionEsports. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, we didn't ask the gorilla question.
I know Meerkat's stupid. We don't need to.
Okay.
Oh.